This week we're going to highlight ongoing concerns about weak export demand for U.S. soybeans. We're also going to take a look at early planting conditions across the U.S. here as we enter the month of April and wrap things up looking at long-term trends in November soybean futures. Hi, this is Brian Basting with Advanced Trading. Let's talk about the soybean market. We've moved into the month of April here, and this market remains exceptionally volatile. We're going to start out this week looking at some ongoing concerns about weakening demand for U.S. soybean exports. We continue to emphasize this slide because it's quite different from a year ago. Again, we saw a surge in sales a year ago at this time, and this year we are looking at a gradual, if you will, seasonal decline in the sales. Why? Last year we had a much smaller Brazilian soybean crop. This year a record soybean crop from Brazil is being harvested. So let's look at those year-to-date U.S. unshipped bean sales. Again, comparing 22-23 with 21-22, sharply lower compared to where it was a year ago when end users had to come to the U.S. because of, again, the smaller crop in Brazil. Let's isolate a few states here. What we're going to do is isolate out Western Hemisphere, other Asia excluding China, Japan, and Taiwan, and Africa. So basically what we're looking at here is much lower exports on the books to those destinations compared to a year ago. Let's quantify that a bit more. We're looking at about 175 million bushels on the books to those destinations a year ago. This year, only about 80 million bushels. So the bias at this point for us as we enter the month of April is perhaps the USDA's annual export forecast is too high. That means that the carryout for beans may be increasing as we move forward. Let's bring our attention back to the U.S. here. Let's take a look at where the planting conditions are in the U.S. We're going to start out looking at Precip over the last 30 days. Our slides this week, as usual, are courtesy of T-storm weather. We're looking here again the last 30 days, very dry conditions out west, particularly in Kansas, Oklahoma. As you move further north, some dryness in eastern Nebraska, a little bit there in western Iowa. But of course, the heavy snowpack up in the northern plains is preventing any concern about dryness. In fact, there's concern about planting delays up there. As you move further east, we're looking at some fairly moist conditions across most of the states. Bottom line, it looks like we've got some very dry conditions across parts of Kansas, but very, very heavy snowpack across the northern plains and moist across the rest of the Midwest. Let's take a look at the short-term forecast. We're looking at a change here, moving into the first full week of April. Warmer conditions this weekend, starting the Easter weekend. We're looking at moving to the north to south to north, much warmer conditions. Now, what will that result in? Moving forward now, the map in the background is U.S. soybean production. Notice across that northern plains again, we're probably going to start to see some snow melt and some field flooding starting this weekend. Let's look ahead to next week now, April 13th to the 16th. We're looking at a front moving west to east here. We are looking at some moisture moving in. However, it doesn't look like we'll see heavy amounts at this time. Let's quantify things a bit here. Let's look at precip over the next 14 days. We're looking at obviously the heaviest precip again across North Dakota, South Dakota, where that blizzard is occurring as we speak, as we tape here on Tuesday. But mostly across the Midwest, normal amounts of moisture over the next 2 weeks. Let's wrap things up this week looking at trends in November soybean futures. Now, November beans here as we tape are trading about $13.20 a bushel. That's $1.20 below last year, but it's still $2.05 above the 5-year average for this time of year. We strongly encourage you to continue to work closely with your trusted risk management advisor to defend your balance sheet. Now, if you'd like more information, please feel free to contact us at 800-664-2321. We'll put you in contact with one of our risk management consultants who'll be happy to visit with you at your convenience. Remember, we upload every Wednesday. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss an upload. And next week, on Tuesday, April 11th, we'll have a live update following the monthly supply-demand report from the USDA at 11:20 Central Time. Thanks a lot. Have a good week.